Good morning and welcome to, I think, day 19 on the AT. My name is Marissa. This is rissaroams. Oh, started raining at 1 a.m. last night and it hasn't really stopped. It's let off some now. It's about 9:20. I'm not gonna lie, this morning's been hard. Not the rain. I think I forgot to mention this, but when I was in Franklin, I was trying to find new pants. I love my pee pants, as everyone knows. But as I've been out here, I've definitely lost some weight, and the pants are starting to get loose. And as they're starting to sag, I'm really starting to experience some chafing, which is very unpleasant, especially on uphills. We've done a lot of uphills lately. My plan was, because I didn't find a pair of pants that worked for me in Franklin, that I would order some and get them after the Smokies, which would work because these pants are thicker and I feel better suited for the cold, rainy nature of the Smokies. Unfortunately, I just don't know if I can make it through the Smokies in these pants. I am so uncomfortable, but I also don't really have any options of getting new pants before I enter the Smokies in 2 days. So yeah, that's what I'm dealing with right now. So I'm not in the best mood because of that, but we'll figure out a solution somehow. It's just frustrating. Just had 2 guys pass me by. I assume they were day hikers. They didn't have packs. I don't know what they're doing out here today, but they asked if I was enjoying this day, and I said, oh yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? I said, it could be worse. And I said, oh yeah, it could be worse, and it has been worse, and it will be worse. Okay. Well, I just had my first wipeout, my first time fully falling on the trail. Hopped over that log and then slid down there. Rocks caught me. I'm fine. Nothing bruised but my ego. So many white trilliums through here. I probably shouldn't have my phone out because it is raining, but I just had to show you. They're all around. It's beautiful. Another thing I need to update you guys on. So my little crew, it started out, well, at one point, Donna was in the group. She is now off trail. But it's me, Alex, Kevin, and George. George was only supposed to be out here for a short period of time. He got off trail in Hiawassee, but he caught the bug, can't get enough of it, switched out some of his gear to lighter weight stuff, and will be out joining us for the Smokies. Kevin was supposed to go to Hot Springs, but due to some issues off trail, he's actually having to get off early and will not be joining us in the Smokies. He is leaving at Fontana. So it will be me, Alex, George, and then Tom joined us a little while back as well. Tom is through hiking, so he should be with us the whole time until our paces split us. George is only going to be doing the Smokies, and then Alex actually gets off trail like the day before trail days starts, and is going to be off trail for 2 weeks. So my little crew is going to fade away, and I am probably going to be alone, which we saw this coming one way or the other, whether it was people getting off trail or just differences in pace. But yes, luckily I'm meeting new people, but yeah, things are changing. I'm gonna miss my boys. Well, you guys will never believe what I just did. There is a really steep climb coming out of Stokoa Gap, and as I mentioned earlier, I am experiencing some pretty bad chafing on the uphills, and it was really painful and I was struggling. So I walked backwards up a good chunk of that climb. And you know what? It didn't hurt, so it worked. I'm forward facing again for the moment, but I am prepared to walk backwards whenever necessary. Well, things are just starting to clear up. It's still foggy, but it's a little brighter than it was. Not currently raining, but keeping the pack on just in case. Yeah, so I was in a lot of pain. Oh, just a minute. We've got a bit of a mud situation. Anyway, I was dealing with a lot of pain from the chafing coming up Stokoa, but I got to the shelter and all the people I camped with were there and they knew what was going on. And I don't know, people out here are just so kind. Keith gave me his little container of like nut butter or whatever. I will say it's so cold it was solid, so I couldn't really use it. I'm sure it'll be great once it's not so cold. People were trying to give me their rain pants so I could wear those instead of these, but I didn't feel like that would really fix the issue. And then another guy, one of the 3 Kevins I've met on trail so far, who was not the one who's part of my little group, gave me some Aquaphor. And so, yeah, I just appreciate how generous everyone is out here. You know, they want to make sure you're feeling good and can keep hiking. And so I'm hiking on now. Everyone else had already left. But yeah, we'll see if I make it to the shelter everyone's going to be at tonight, or if I stop short at the campsite. I'd like to make it there because it's going to be my last night on trail with Kevin, and you know, I'd like to spend it with my people, but I got to do what's best for me. So we'll see how it goes. The good news is we're still hiking in a green wood, which makes me happy. I know leaves mean fewer views, but it just makes me happy to hike in green. I'm so looking forward to the green tunnel. Got a bit of a view through the trees there. I'll take it. It did clear up enough that I'm getting a bit of a view here, so that's nice. We were in fog not that long ago. Sure is pretty up here. Can't get much of a view through the trees, but still pretty. Okay, now that's a good view. So I've decided we're gonna rationalize the horrible pain that I've been in today, because if I hadn't been in pain, I would have blown through here a lot sooner, and I would have been up here in a cloud, and I wouldn't have gotten views. So thank you for the pain. I don't know that it actually equals out, but we're gonna look at it that way. So I want to talk to you guys about some gear swaps. Obviously, after today, you all know pants are getting swapped. That is a non-negotiable. If you notice, I'm wearing a shirt that I did not start with. I bought this tank top. I don't know if I mentioned it in Franklin. The bane of my existence is putting on a wet sun hoodie. I can do wet pants. I can do wet socks and shoes, but putting on a wet long sleeve t-shirt was just entirely too much for me. And yeah, so I got the tank top for rainy days because I just can't stand having wet arms, and my arms get wet. Doesn't matter that I'm wearing a rain jacket. I don't know if it's sweat, I don't know if it's rain, but my arms get soaked, and I would rather have wet arms than wet sleeves. Another thing, assessment of the paca. More power to Bad Bat. I'm glad it worked well for her. It is not for me. I think we're going to switch at some point to a rain jacket and a pack cover. I think that's going to be a better situation for me. My issues with the paca, one, it does wet out. I know she said like it did, but her pack never got wet. I'm going to attribute that to the fact that she had a water resistant or waterproof pack. I do not. I get wet, at least my arms. My core stays dry, and my pack gets wet, which is fine because I have a pack liner, so at least the stuff that matters stays dry. My bigger issue is I have to pick what I want to keep dry. So when I'm packing up camp, am I going to wear my paca as a rain jacket, or am I going to use it to protect my pack? Not to mention, if I wear the paca just as a rain jacket, the little bump out where my pack sits, anytime I like bend over to like pull a stake out of the ground when I'm taking my tent down, it like gets tucked under my bum, and then it like gets stuck and it's hard to stand back up, which is silly but obnoxious. Also, if ever I want to take my pack off, I have to take my rain jacket off. There's no just sliding the pack off. So if I stop for lunch, I have to take it off, and then, you know, I don't have anything covering me. Same with like bathroom. I can go to the bathroom wearing my pack and these pants, but it's not very easy. And so if I want to take my pack off, I have to take my rain jacket off, and that's just really obnoxious. So I'm not saying the paca is a bad product. It works for some people. It is not for me. We have learned, and that's okay. You know, no harm, no foul. Nothing tragic happened, but this is just my assessment after using it used it in 2 rain spells now, that 3-day stretch of rain and then today. And I knew after that 3-day stretch that I was kind of done, but I was going to see, I just wanted to test it out a little bit more. And after today, I have come to the conclusion we got to make some changes. I do not know if I will have the opportunity to make any changes in Fontana. I don't know if there's any good outfitters there. Really hope so. But we can make it work. Like I said, it's mainly just obnoxious, not necessarily like detrimental to my hike, other than the pants. The pants are detrimental. The pants need to go. As I was hiking, I ran into Mojo. We hiked together for a little bit. We came up to the campsite I had thought about staying at, along with Inspector, who is one of the 3 Kevins that I know on trail. They were trying to decide whether to stay or push on. We all wanted to push further, but the concern is we're at the back of the pack, and everyone we camped with last night, which was about 14 or 15 people, is headed to the shelter. The shelter seems to be pretty small and doesn't have a lot of tent sites, so they were thinking about hanging back. It was very windy there, though. It's still so early. I didn't really want to sit around in the wind, so we're risking it. It's also my Kevin, aka Lazy Boy, his last night on trail, so I'd like to meet back up with them and spend one last night with the crew. So we're pushing on. I have no idea if there will be room in the shelter or for my tent, but we're gonna try and we'll see what happens. But yeah, on we go, about 3.5 miles, so it'll be at least 5 o'clock by the time I get to the shelter, which is kind of late for my preference, but I don't feel like stopping, so we're pushing on. Ah, the sun is out. So exciting. I hope it stays, and I hope I can dry out my tent. We're not stopping yet. We got 2 miles to the shelter, but thankful for sunshine. Yay. So yesterday, I hiked down from Chioa Bald the entire way to the shelter with Tom, and both of us agreed that those were the longest 2.5 miles of our lives. It was ridiculous. They just went on forever and ever. I'm happy to say that these last couple miles to the shelter do seem to be going a little bit faster, but I will say my feet are starting to give up. They reach a point, I'd say around 10 or 11 miles, where they just kind of quit. And it's crazy because I've talked with people, and at first I was like, when did trail legs come in? And of course everyone has different answers, but I will say I don't really feel like I need trail legs. My legs feel fine. They feel like they could go on forever, but I need trail feet. They get so tired. One last ascent for the day. I'm glad it's a short one.
So I didn't get any more video that night, but I made it to the shelter. Tom, Alex, and Kevin were the only ones in there. There was one spot left, so I got to have one last shelter sleepover with the gang, so that was really nice. Yeah, it was fun. We laughed until we cried, as always. Yeah, I love shelter nights.